when we talk about the character of the presidency, and does it matter that the president has a lack of character? I mean, there's no other way to put it. He is not somebody who you'd want babysitting your children. He is not somebody who you'd probably consider a personal friend. Yeah. He's not that guy. Yeah. And not to go ancient philosophy, but even Aristotle recognized that you didn't have to be a good person to be a good citizen. But it is also true that there are consequences to the nation for having a bad man, even if he is doing good things for you. And I agree with everybody and everything that's been said about policy. Obviously, I've said it directly to top members of the administration that on policy, particularly executive policy, I'd give him an A-.
You wore the hat after Gorsuch.
That's right. Listen, when he does good things, I cheer him as loudly or more loudly than anybody else. But when he does bad things, I think it is incumbent on us to speak up, and we don't. There's a tendency not to, and that's why when Mitch McConnell says best year for conservatism in a long time, or in 30 years. I will say, in terms of conservative policy, I probably agree with that. In terms of for conservatism, there's two ways to judge the year, and one has not come in yet, right? So way one is we can judge it on the policy, and way two is what is the effect of that year, right? How are we actually going to, how does this play out over time? So let's say that he has made all the causes that I love and that you like and all the policies that we love. What if he's made those toxic, right? What if, like, to take an example that is close to my heart, obviously, I think that most Republican presidents would have done the stuff that he did, except for one thing where I give him 100% credit, which is the moving of the embassy to Jerusalem. Right. I think it takes a man who does not care about any of the norms to do something like that, and he's totally right, and good for him, and full marks. Now, what if his toxicity actually makes that an unpopular position, a much more unpopular position than it was before? And you've seen this in all of the areas where he's injected himself into culture. So, for example, the NFL fight, which I'm sure you guys celebrated and thought, "Oh, this is great." He's taking it to them. Okay, so I will show you why. I will tell you why I don't think it's great. Okay. The reason that I don't think it's great is not because I think he's wrong. I think he's 100% right. Obviously, the reason that I think that it's bad is that if you look at the opinion polls, and I know we're not supposed to pay attention to polls anymore, but I think they are reflective of something. Okay, if you look at the opinion polls on how many
people reflective of fake news, Ben.
Right?
Yeah, they're sometimes reflective of things.
Cigar, and I just don't feel wise enough.
Oh yeah, you look much wiser now.
Thank you. Well,
tell him he looks wise, Noel.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I think that the problem is that if you look at the polls on the patriotism question on whether you should actually stand for the anthem or not. What you see is that before Trump intervened, 75% of the American public thought you're an idiot if you kneel for the anthem. After Trump intervened, 55% of the American public thinks you're an idiot if you kneel for the anthem. So he can win a personal victory because that's a popular issue, obviously. But if Hillary Clinton had said anything, let's say, God forbid, Hillary were president, and Hillary had said anything that lowered by 20% the number of Americans who thought it was bad to kneel for the anthem, we would say that's a terrible effect. Look what she's done. Okay, and this is the problem with him being personally toxic. He can say things I like, and now I actually have a stake in him not being personally toxic. Like, if he were representing policies I don't care about, I wouldn't have a stake in his character. Then it'd just be like, okay, he's a bad character, he's doing crap I don't care about, who cares? But if he does stuff that I really like and I want to see victorious, and I speak to young people all the time, and I want to see young people fall in line behind a lot of the ideas that he's actually winning for, then he needs to be good at promulgating those ideas, not just getting them implemented. The president has power because the president's the president. But what happens in 2020? What happens in 2024? What happens when there's a poll that shows Republicans under the age of 30, 75% of them want Trump primaried in 2020? Okay, that's not good for conservatism.
But there